Mr. Mayor, it's 7 o'clock.
Fine. All right. Good evening, everyone. I am going to call this meeting to order. Today is January 26th. Time is approximately 7 p.m. This is our first, our regular scheduled commission meeting. We'll have a Board of Adjustment meeting after this, so don't go too far. The first item is the approval of the agenda. We do have some revisions that I'll go through. They're all basically outlined. Move item number 4, the proclamation calling a regular election on April 14th, 2026, from the consent agenda to presentations. We're going to move item 5, the SRF drinking water distribution system redundancy loan application, from the consent agenda to agenda items as well. And then 6, 7, and 8 have been pulled, so they're going to get pushed to another meeting date. If there's no other discussion, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion, second.
Motion has been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion on the agenda? Any from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. The motion passes unanimous. Please rise and remain standing for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's bow our heads and go to the Lord. Lord, thank you for having us today. Thank you for the blessing of such a wonderful area that we live in. Thank you for the blessing of such a wonderful country. We ask that you watch over those that are in harm's way tonight across the world. We ask that you walk with these folks who have lost their power, see to it that they are taken care of by their respective communities. We ask for you to watch over our meeting tonight and with blessings as we do your work. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you very much, sir. All right, so that takes us to presentations. Again, this first one is going to be the proclamation calling for regular election on April 14th. That was pulled from the consent agenda. And Madam Clerk, do you have the actual proclamation? Because I don't have it in front of me. All right, appreciate it. So this is a proclamation calling a regular election under and by virtue of the power vested in me as the mayor of the city of Newberry, Florida. A general election is hereby called to be held in the city of Newberry, Florida on Tuesday, April 14th, 2026, for the purposes of electing 3 city commissioners. We'll have Group 1, Group 2, and Group 3. All those serve for 2-year terms. The election shall be held at the Mentally Northfleet Municipal Building, Precinct 6, located at 25420 West Newberry Road, Newberry, Florida. And the polls shall be open at 7 a.m. on said day and close at 7 p.m. on same day. The clerks, deputy, and inspectors of said election are as follows: Loretta Whitfield, clerk; Valerie Foldauer, assistant clerk; Sharon Oliphant, ballot scanner; Marilyn Green, inspector and EVID operator; Ann Buckley, inspector and EVID operator; Kathleen Muni, inspector and EVID operator; and David Dale will be our deputy this year. The candidate qualifying period begins at noon on Monday, February 23rd, 2026, and ends at noon on Thursday, February 26, 2026. Candidates for the municipal election shall qualify for office with the city clerk by appointment, calling, and you can call for that at 352-472-2446 or emailing cityclerk@newberryfl.gov. City groups are $147.57. Final day of registration and book closing for the municipal election will be the registration books of the City of Newberry, Florida will be closed at 5 p.m. on Monday, March 16th, 2026. Given under my hand and official seal of the City of Newberry, Florida, this 26th day of January 2026. Madam Clerk, did I miss anything? I can't read the Spanish one.
No, sir.
All right, so if you are interested in running, you need to qualify again between the 23rd and the 26th of February, and you'll be doing so with the city clerk.
That's
Got any
correct.
questions? All right. Okay, public announcements, 2 minutes. Anyone from the public have a public announcement of any kind, yard sale, event, et cetera? Seeing none. All right. We'll move to the consent agenda. Obviously, we had a couple of the revisions there. Any other changes? I don't think we had any, so I'll entertain a motion for the consent agenda at this time.
Second.
A motion from Commissioner Clark and a second by Commissioner Mazon. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Motion passes unanimous. So public hearings 6, 7, and 8 are pushed. Takes us to the agenda items. The revision, moved from the consent agenda is the SRF Drinking Water Distribution System Redundancy Loan Application. And Dallas, you're going to walk us through this one. Do we have a resolution from the attorney first?
We do.
Okay.
It's resolution number 2026-06, a resolution of the City of Newberry, Florida, relating to the State Revolving Fund Loan Program, making findings, authorizing the loan application, authorizing the loan agreement, establishing pledged revenues, designating authorized representatives, providing assurances, providing for conflict, severability, and effective date.
All right, Mr. Lee, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The item before you tonight is a loan application to the State Revolving Fund Loan Program through the Department of Environmental Protection. It's in the amount of $18.25 million. However, the city did receive half of that forgiven in a grant program, so we received $9.125 million through a grant. This loan will pay for a number of projects in your water system throughout the city, which include but are not limited to installing redundant piping, redundant elevated storage installation, looping facilities to increase redundancy and pressure. All projects will include flood-proofing components, waterproofing of electrical equipment, circuitry, backup power supply, SCADA system for remote monitoring and control upgrades, and cybersecurity improvements of our water system. As I said, it's for $18.25 million. We do not have to use the entire loan, but this will fund your water CIP for the next several years, and we did receive 50% loan forgiveness. The current interest rate on this loan is 1.6%. And your loan will be paid back using the development fees we collect from new development within the city. Happy to answer any questions, Mr. Mayor.
Very good, thank you very much. And does the dais have any questions? Commissioner Clark?
Dallas, are we borrowing 9?
Yes, sir. We'll get $18.5 million and we'll borrow 9 of that, with 9 of it
Okay.
get forgiven. They won't do that right up front. Yeah, that's what's in this application. They've already agreed to that. Yes, sir.
Any other questions? All right, does the dais have a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Farnsworth, a second by Commissioner Long. Any further discussion from the dais? Any from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The ayes have it, the motion passes unanimous. All right. Request from the property owners Solano, and is that pronounced Thode? Yes. Okay, owners for reduction in code enforcement lien amount and extension of time to pay. Greta, you're walking us through this. You have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. Greta Moreau, Code Enforcement Officer for the City of Newberry.
You may have to turn it on.
It's on.
Is it?
Oh, wait, maybe it's not. That's not mine. Just keep clicking through. Oh, there we go. Okay. All right, request by Solano and Thod owners for the reduction in code enforcement fines. This is a case that originated back in 2021 with the previous code officer. That was when Ms. Solano's mother originally owned the home at that stage of the game. Ms. Solano and her daughter, the other sister, I'm sorry, Ms. Thod took over at some point, and I'm sure she'll tell you when, took the home over. When I came on board in 2024, it was one of the original cases that were here. And just for clarity, I just closed out that old case, started fresh, so I knew exactly what was going on with the case. This is, home is in Newberry Oaks. This is a photo of the outside of the home, and you can see in the very back corner there the shed that was built without a permit. This is a photo that was taken by the original code officer back in 2021, right after the shed was built. So just a quick summary of the magistrate part of the case. Property owners requesting a reduction of code enforcement fine that is $8,100, which was ordered by the special magistrate February 13th of 2025. A lien was assessed to the property for the fine and $150 administrative cost, which was also awarded on February 13th. Compliance was achieved by the property owners on September the 29th of 2025. Property owners went before the special magistrate on November 13th of 2025, requested a reduction of the code enforcement fine. Special magistrate recommended a reduction of the fine to $2,500, also still including the $150 administrative cost. And his recommendation was to have that paid within 60 days of the commission approval. And if payment was not made within the specified time, that the fine would revert back to the original fine of the $8,100 and the $150 administration cost, and that the lien will still remain in effect at that time. So recommended actions tonight is for you to consider property owner's request and the special magistrate's recommendation, determine whether to reduce the lien amount, determine terms of those payments, and then authorize the mayor to execute a release of lien upon receipt of payment in full. Ms. Solano is here and would like to take a moment and speak with you, if that's all right.
Ms. Dice, want to hear from the homeowner? Yeah. Come on down. Just introduce yourself for the record and the people at home.
Hi, my name's Erica Solano. And as Ms. Greta said, this case started a while ago. We didn't really know that we had to get all these permissions for the shed. It was just like a little dog house for my mom's dogs. And then we learned that we had to get that. I worked with the person prior to Ms. Greta and compile a lot of information, which took a long time, and then that person left. I really didn't think that there were any more issues until we heard from Greta, and then we started the process again. It's not an easy process. It's not really easy to find people that want to help you out, and it's expensive to get these improvement corrections done. So I say half of the time we were trying to find an architect and somebody like a contractor, and then an architect, and then the proper people that would give us the permits that, the drawings and the things that we needed. And so thankfully in the prior meeting, they did reduce the fee, and I'm here just to ask if that fee could be reduced any further, mostly because we've already, had to spend a lot of money getting the unit built up. There aren't really any resources on, how to handle this process within the city. Greta was great. She really did go above and beyond to try to help us out. But that didn't mean that we had an easy path. It was really complicated. I know that they're working in developing some resources so that this doesn't happen in the future. But while it did take, almost a year to get this done, it's a lot of time. When you put it into perspective, in my opinion, it really was not that long. I have no experience as an engineer. I don't have any engineer cousins or friends that can, hook you up and get it done for you. So it was definitely a rough process. We're already in debt to, pay the things that we had to do to the property. And so again, I'm just wondering if that fee could be considered to be reduced. Thank you.
Great. Does Dice have any questions for Greta or Ms. Solano?
Couple.
All right. Commissioner Farnsworth?
When did this process begin?
In 2021.
So they were notified of the requirements and stuff at that time.
There, I know, all I can verify is that there was a notice of violation sent out, but unfortunately, I don't have any of the notes of whatever communication was between them and the previous code officer at the time.
And why do we have a magistrate? Why is this coming before us? We have the magistrate to make these decisions. And, that's the reason we got him, so we wouldn't have to have this kind of thing come before us. So I'm just kind of curious as to what's going on.
I think we're going to, the attorney may speak about that.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. So procedurally, you're correct. Your special magistrate hears the code enforcement case and determines whether there's been a violation, and if there has, what the fines are that will accrue until the property comes into compliance. So that's what happened here, and the property has come into compliance. Once that happens, your staff records a lien in the public records, because ultimately there's a debt now owed to the city for the period of noncompliance. That lien belongs to the city commission. So that's why this is before you. You are the only ones who can determine, are you willing to reduce the lien? Are you willing to set terms of payment? You can do that. It's just a debt, basically, that you're settling.
Okay. One of the questions is, if we reduce the lien in this case, what about the next person that comes before us? So they're going to say, well, you reduced the lien for this person, why aren't you reducing the lien for me?
Certainly, you may anticipate that folks would do that. This isn't precedent setting in the terms of the law, that just because hearing the facts of this request, you can decide on the merits of this request, or you could simply say no. The next person who comes before you, they would be able to present their case as well and ask for the same thing. Although I will note, I've talked with City Manager Marlowe, and one of the things that he'd like to work on with me are updates to your special magistrate code provisions, because we found a number of things in there that may benefit from some improvement, including perhaps having these kinds of requests go to the city manager, who would have some basic guidelines that he would follow in determining whether to reduce these and set payment terms. So if you're interested in that, I'm happy to work with him on that.
Okay.
Permission to speak? While I do understand that this may, in your mind, create some type of precedent or whatever the case may be, I think the city has a responsibility to develop the proper resources so that citizens that want to do improvement to their homes, the homes that they pay for, the land that they own, can be done in a smooth path, and it's not, going through Army training to try to get a permit. You wouldn't be setting precedent, because when I started this process, first of all, back in 2021, everything that we thought was requested had been compiled, and someone from the city lost that. Greta started the process again, and so I had to start over everything. Again, I don't know anything. I didn't have a copy of it. I gave everything to the city. Then I come back and go through the process, and I understand that, we don't want to create some kind of a precedent. But again, this does feel a bit like a punishment, even though it's not supposed to be a punishment, because, again, there's no real path defined on how to get these things done other than survival mode, and that should not be the case moving forward.
Okay, I'm sorry. No.
You want to finish?
Hold on.
Yeah, let me just ask. Okay, so I don't have quite an understanding as why you're not aware of the process. If you're building a building, you have to have a building permit. We can't go around to every house and wait for somebody to start building one and say, oh, you got to have a permit to build it. I'm not sure what you're referring to as the process, so.
Oh, I can speak a little bit. Well, 2019, I was in your same shoes. I had a shed in my property. Building code enforcement was retired or left, and I was left with a permit that wasn't official and it wasn't approved. So I was in your same shoes. So I can understand the confusion that homeowner can have by doing something and going through the process of trying to be compliant, and then the city doesn't have the compliance to finish the process. So I understand where you're coming from. So the biggest thing is, how do we prevent this from happening, which I thought we were trying to work toward that as I've gotten on the planning zone and now the commission, so people can have a better understanding on what they can and can't do, and how do we illustrate that a little bit better to citizens so they don't go through this process. Because I was fortunate enough to get it approved by the commission and get it approved and got a variation, so I was good to go. But for your case, I can see how the frustration is. Now, I didn't have a built product. I just had a typical removable shed, so it was a little bit easier for me. But I can understand your frustration and confusion, and I will hope we can have a little leniency when someone's trying to go through the process, when you having different departments changing and not really having the full process go through. So like I said, I know it's frustrating because I was in your same shoe, had a knock on the door a year later telling me I wasn't in compliance, so I can understand that frustration. And I wouldn't mind a reduction. I don't know what that reduction would be, or an extension of time to pay it off. So from my experience, I know exactly what you're going through.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Commissioner Coleman?
Yeah, does this have power?
Yes.
So it's, power's hooked to it, plumbing's in it? Is plumbing hooked in there? Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Maison?
Yeah. Are you asking for a reduction from the 25 or whatever it is, or so you're asking for a lower reduction?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
As far as time, if need be, we could work in getting a loan to pay that, like if it's possible to reduce the fee, but then we can still pay in the 60-day
Do
period.
you need more time as far as, do you want it a little
I
longer?
mean, ideally, more time so we don't have to pay interest on this, but if necessary, we'll settle with the city and get a loan to pay whatever the fee ends up being.
1 second, I lost track of who was next. Are you done, Commissioner Maison?
Yeah.
I think it was Commissioner Coleman.
Yeah, what's the total cost that the city's out right
That's what I
now?
was gonna ask.
Ms. Greta,
What's the total amount?
how much staff time do we have invested in this?
It's hard for me to judge prior to me coming on board in 2024.
Right,
I have no clue there. I'm being conservative, 15 hours since I've been on.
At what, an hour?
15 hours,
Just say 30.
correct?
Is that a-
Yes, sir.
Just
I graduated from Lafayette High School.
just say
15 times 30.
$450. $450.
Move to approve this at $450 and get this off the dadgum books and let's go on.
Commissioner Clark?
Second it. I'm done with it. That was my question.
So motion to approve at 450?
Yeah, there's a motion on the floor from Coleman to approve at 450, second from Commissioner Clark. But hold,
I just want to make sure plus the $150 administrative cost.
okay.
I have another.
Okay.
We don't have that in the motion. Do you want to amend the motion?
Add that, I amend it to plus the administration fee of $150.
Commissioner Clark, acknowledge your second amended. Commissioner Farnsworth, you have the floor.
Yeah, the thing is, we have a magistrate to figure these things out. And I'm all for extending the length of the time for the payment to be made. But as far as the cost, I think we should go by what the magistrate says.
Well, right now, we're speaking on the cost to the city, right? So that amount will help us get that covered. So in my opinion, the 450 plus the 150 will cover our costs for the work was put in.
Does that include like the filing fees for the lien and stuff? And the attorney time? to do
Mr.
all
Mayor,
that?
the $150 should cover that. Greta, the one thing I would include is the cost of our special magistrate, who bills at a much higher rate than unfortunately we pay you. Do you have an estimate of how much time the special magistrate or how much we spent on the special magistrate?
I'm not familiar with his hourly rate at this moment, but I know that he has heard the case 3 times.
I believe he charges us $100 an hour. Does that sound? I just want to make sure we recoup the special magistrate's costs as well.
So we don't have that number?
Not off the top of our heads, unfortunately.
Come before us when things like this happen.
Hold on.
Made a decision.
Just stand by 1 second. Madam Attorney?
My only question was, are you going to set a time frame in which it be paid? So that way it's clear that the mayor can release the lien.
60 days, it's right here in the book, same, unless.
Yeah, I
he's
see,
got
it's the same thing, it's 60 days.
on.
Yeah, this magistrate thing is not a Newberryan. I think he drives in from Jacksonville, Florida.
Williston.
Huh?
Williston.
Williston, okay, he don't live here. I don't want to propose this, but I think the citizens should decide what happens to somebody that's not going to stay in compliance. You know, getting somebody to drive in here from out of town to decide what our citizens are going to get fined or whatever. I think there ought to be some kind of board put together where let the citizens make this choice, not this one dude that's sitting over here in what county is Williston?
Levy.
Levy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like this. I think Mike New brought this in. I think it should be like a 3-panel board from the citizens. And I know this ain't the time to talk about it, but here we are. So, but I'm not gonna change the amendment. I'm not gonna change it. I'd say 450 and plus the administration fee, and that's where I'm at. 60 days. Anything else, ma'am? Anything else?
Commissioner,
Yeah, $600.
Commissioner Maison.
Yeah, I have a question. So I was gonna ask, when she said she wanted a reduction, with all due respect to Coleman, what would you recommend the reduction be from what 2,500?
You're
Yes.
asking me?
I mean, from like, huh?
It came all the way from 8,000 down to 2,500 already.
I know, that's what I'm getting at. So I mean, and Coleman's saying 450. And so now we started asking questions as to, will it cover all the costs? So if she was asking for another reduction, what would that reduction be? Do you know? Do you know, Stacy?
No, we don't. we're
Instead
not-
of
we're
just
not doing the
saying
math
yes,
on that.
450.
Yeah, we're not doing the math on that. I think it's $100 or $200 an hour on the magistrate. We'd like to recoup that as well for at least an hour or two because they've already heard it 3 times. So I can only approximate. I wouldn't be able to know and say for sure.
Okay, so we can't definitely say 450.
But why not? They're paid by the hour. Either way, if they're here or they're not here. Recouping the costs for here, I think is ridiculous. They're being paid if they're here or not. They work for the city. Now, if you want to pay the judge, that's why I think it's just $450 plus some admin fees. But that's where I'm at.
Commissioner Maison, your light's still on. Do you
Yeah,
have a
it
follow-up,
is.
or you're just thinking?
I am.
Okay.
This is, yeah.
Please agree with me.
No, I get where they're at, but I'm just, I don't know.
So if we raise it.
But I mean, we just can't let people just go in and build something and then get fined and then, oh, well, we just go before the city commission and Commissioner Coleman reduced it down to $450. So, I mean, that's all we gotta do.
I'm not going against what he said. Greta, what kind of money did it take once Clark found this and you picked it up? Not in staff time. What kind of money did it take on the citizen to get in compliant with the shed they built?
Oh, she had to hire an engineer, and that engineer had to structurally examine the building and send us a letter stating that if the building was up to code. And there was a couple things that they had to fix, and that cost them some money. But I think that she would be best to give you that
Well, I'm just
cost.
asking, I don't have to have a to the number, but we're standing here, we don't have things, when we're sitting up here, we're making a decision based on what we want information quick with numbers, and we don't have them. So that's why Commissioner Coleman's thrown out a number here. Nobody can tell us what it is, but how much money do you have in this, ma'am? Come up here.
5,000 plus.
Okay. From the time y'all, when code enforcement, not including your building, but that's what it costs for you to get up to speed to get this building right when code enforcement got you.
Right.
Okay. Okay, that's all, that's just information.
And I would hope with Greta building resources for a citizen to type, how do I get a permit to build a shed? Do I need a permit? And possibly some decision trees.
A building department that's all very good here.
But that wasn't there when I started this process.
The building department?
Somebody to guide me through the process of what I needed to do and, right, right.
Well, Mark, I went through that process. The building department was there, then they left. Nobody communicated. So that loss of communication has happened. So I get your frustration. But
Anyway, that's good, you spent 5,000 to get up to speed.
Well, and that's why we have licensed contractors in the state of Florida in the first place.
So we have a motion on the floor. It's been moved and properly seconded at $600 is the net. If somebody wants to make an amendment to that, that's their prerogative. It would need to be seconded, and then we would discuss the amendment and take a vote on the amendment. If it changes the motion, then the motion would be voted upon as well.
question, if it's not paid in 60 days, then what's the, go back to the original, right? Okay.
Is the original the 8,100 or is the original now 2,500? So we go back to the 8,100.
This is to get this settled, get the lien done, get it off our books and off our case. And let the people go back to doing what they do.
Ma'am, can you pay $600 within 60 days? Yes, sir. Have you paid anything since the judgment back in November?
Is that when I met with the Marks? No, sir. We have been scheduled, the holidays.
I'm sorry, there's.
We had met and then the holidays came and so we were scheduled for early January and then something had come up and we got rescheduled for today's meeting.
Okay,
Oh,
all right.
Who built the building?
My cousin
Okay, so
and
just a
some
family
friends
member.
and like I
Okay.
have pizza and beer and.
Okay,
let's
so it
build
wasn't a
this thing.
contractor that
No,
should
sir.
have known they'd gotten a permit.
Right. But it was a doghouse, right? So like in our mind, it was just a doghouse. But we now understand that you even need a permit for a pre-made shed that you bought at the store. It's not like you can just bring it. You need a permit. So we've learned a lot about the process. Still can't make the drawing, but
Has to be within those setbacks and all that.
that's right.
And the building inspection itself, how come the city can't do the building inspection? How come they couldn't do it? How come you had to pay an architect to do it? Or
Oh,
engineer?
They're not engineers. It had to be certified by a structural engineer since it was built. It's part of our permit process. It's part of our permit processing. If it's being constructed, it still has to have an engineer certification that it meets the wind loads and everything. Exactly.
There would have needed to be an engineer's report either way.
Either way,
If
an
she had gone
engineer
through
would
the
have had to
proper
have been
process, it would
involved.
require the
Okay,
engineer's report as well.
okay.
So we have a motion and moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, let's do a roll call vote. Commissioner Coleman? Aye. Commissioner Clark? Aye. Commissioner Farnsworth? Aye. Commissioner Long? Aye. Commissioner Mazon? Sorry. No? Aye. Oh, aye. Motion passes 4-1. All right, and believe it or not, that brings us to comments under the regular commission meeting. We'll begin on my far right with the stand-in city manager. Oh, pardon me. Let's do citizens first. Any comment? All right, go ahead.
Mr. Mayor and Commission, I don't know if you saw it, but Newberry was recently recognized in a little magazine last weekend called Forbes magazine. Forbes did an article on our Ag Tech Park, so we're pretty excited about that. Speaking of our Ag Tech Park, Harvest Singularity has officially made their application for their site and development plan. So we're excited to move that through the process and bring it to you for our first anchor tenant of the Ag Tech Park. And then last but not least, we have received notice from the ISO that they are looking at our fire department for a new rating. As the commission is aware, the ISO is very important in setting your homeowner's insurance for your residents. So the chief and his staff and our utilities department will be working to go through that process. And that concludes my comments.
Okay. Did you want to talk about the GFO? Oh, okay. All right, fair enough. Madam Clerk? Sorry, go ahead.
I don't have anything.
Okay. She doesn't have anything.
The only thing I had is to reiterate, if anybody wanted to make an appointment for the qualifying period, you can do so by calling my office, 352-472-2446, or you can email me at cityclerk@newberryfl.gov.
Commissioner Coleman? Commissioner Clark?
God bless America and the troops that are deployed.
Commissioner Farnsworth?
God bless America and go Broncos.
Commissioner Long?
Well, to that notion, I want to congratulate Corey Durden, making it to the Super Bowl, our local guy here. Hoping he win it. This guy talking about go Broncos. But other than that, good luck to him, and I hope he bring it on.
Fair enough. Commissioner Maison?
Yes, geez, Monty. Anyways, yes. So I do have a couple questions. What is the update for the Gasson ordeal? I spoke with Scott about it and found out that that they did not get a variance
Waiver?
to extend or waiver. Yes, it got pulled away from them, and they're still operating.
If you don't have a live answer on that, we,
I thought we was waiting on that SB bill or something. I've asked for an update on it also. They were going against the SB bill or something.
I thought once that got yanked from them, they weren't able to.
The tolling is still in effect until we get an official word from the property appraiser. We have been told that they're not going to get their ag classification, but they have till March 1st to apply, and the tolling is still continued until we hear from.
I spoke with the property appraiser, and the property appraiser told me he yanked that from them, so they are not supposed to be operating on that
Right,
property.
Aisha is the one that has the final say on that as of March 1st.
I'm confused. Okay. So even though the property appraiser says you don't have what you need to operate this business, I'm taking away your certification. You're done?
That's
So
correct.
then it
They-
goes back to Aisha, and Aisha says
They have till March 1st to apply.
to apply or to come into compliance.
Either way, they have to apply or come into compliance with what, that's
So
correct.
in that process,
So they have
can you
till
still
March 1st.
operate?
Yes, because the tolling is in effect until the tolling is based on the ag classification being achieved. March 1st is the date that's the deadline by the time they have to hear from Aisha saying that she is going to give or not give. I should say Ms.
And
Solomon.
I just want to clarify, Aisha is the property appraiser.
Yes.
So it is ultimately her call.
Right,
Okay.
She is the elected property appraiser.
yes.
So.
They have till March 1st is the deadline for applying for any ag classifications.
Okay. I gotta do some more.
Mr.
Yeah.
Mayor.
Over here.
They're still grinding.
And what gets me is that's not ag. I mean, that's an operation, commercial business going on right there.
Yeah.
That is so illegal.
I think that they're anticipating a legislative change that allows that type of business to be located in ag.
Yeah, but can't we shut them down until March or whenever this?
Not
done?
with the tolling agreement in a place.
We have no power or nothing to that.
The commission agreed to
The toll.
to hold off on any actions until this date. So until March 1st, we're in a holding pattern. But Mr. Mayor, I'll get with the city manager after this and we'll make sure we get an update to the commission.
Yeah, just send us an email if you could.
That's crazy.
All right. So yeah, no, I still got one more. So what I started doing at the beginning of this was I would promote businesses, new businesses in the city of Newberry limits. And man, I did not know this, but we have a boxing coach in the city of Newberry. Did you guys know this? No. Did you guys know this? And he boxes. His name is Diaz. Yep, Diaz Boxing Club. You seen it? This dude's got like a full ring and everything over there, 100 off of Bronson Road, 266th Street. So just a little bit of information on him real quick. It's diazboxingclub.com. That's DIAZBOXING club.com. And if you need to reach out to him to set a schedule, he does one-on-ones, he does classes. His number is 914-214-7070. And he is a veteran. It's a veteran-owned, one more time? Veteran-owned business, too. I thought you'd like that, Clark. So, yeah. So if anybody's looking, we're actually going to call the guy up and get our son actually into it, because he also does like physical training as well. So it's not just a boxing thing, it's to work out. And so for anyone that's looking to venture into that, I was hoping that my wife sent me this flyer. But this weekend coming up, they got it's a fundraiser, which is we have a citizen that is struggling in life with her daughter, and her daughter's husband passed away. I don't want to say too much about it because I don't know how much she wants me to go into detail. But if anyone that's listening to this or seeing this, if you could show your support, it's going to be this weekend at the Country Square. 2911 will be there, and so will Amazing Wings. They'll be there as well, and there's a couple other vendors that'll be there as well. So if you guys could show up and show your support, donate, I'm sure she would appreciate that, and so would I. So with that, I don't have the time on me. I know. My wife's not even responding right now. It's Saturday. No, I was waiting on you gonna have me call my wife on the dais right now? I mean,
Comments.
it is comments. You're right, but
Maybe we'll get it by the comment period for the
we will.
VOA
We'll
or
get
something.
it. Yes. Yeah. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, sir. February 7th is the Blues and Barbecue, or Barbecue and Blues, here in downtown. It was wildly successful last year. Between the food and the car show element was great. I believe the time is 10 to 4, but you can look on Facebook, I'm sure, to find out 10 to 4 for that. And we got notification today. We are pleased to notify you that your annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2024 qualifies for GFOA's Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. The Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition in governmental accounting and financial reporting, and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by a government and its management. So, if I'm not mistaken, this is the 7th year in a row that our accounting department, headed by Mr. Lee down there at the end, has received this award, and it represents a fraction of people that actually get this award. And Mr. Lee, you can probably tell me and tell us what the percentage of people that actually get this certification, and brag on yourself a little bit.
Mr. Mayor, less than 5% of governments receive this certificate.
And how many governments are there in this country?
Oh, you probably know better than I do. I want to
Oh,
say it's about 46,000.
There is about 46,000. I think you're right, too. So congratulations to you and Amanda and all the work that you guys do on that. Okay, we will be following this commission meeting with the BOA.
Time is from 12 to 4. Monty, from 12 to 4 p.m. There we go.
All right, our meeting is adjourned. Let's take 5.
That's amazing.
All right, let's reconvene here. We are going to bring this Board of Adjustment meeting to order. Today's date is January 26th. Time is approximately 7:50 p.m. And we have an approval of the agenda as published. Do I hear a motion from the floor, from the dais? So moved from Commissioner Long. Second. And second from Commissioner Clark. Is there any discussion on the approval of the agenda? Any from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The ayes have it. Motion passes unanimous. And first item is the motion to entertain a motion to approve the agenda from the November 24th Board of Adjustment meeting minutes that were in the backup. If there's any other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Clark, Commissioner Coleman. Any discussion from the dais? Any from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The ayes have it, unanimous on that as well. Okay. So any announcements from the public? Seeing none. Public hearing and ordinances. This is actually a quasi-judicial process for both items tonight. We're going to hear all Florida first. Jean Paul will be bringing both of these items before us, and then we're going to hear about Wendy's. We're going to apply the quasi-judicial that I am reading for both unless somebody else comes in the room before we get to the second item. So we're entering a quasi-judicial procedure. This means the commission will stop being a legislative body and will become a judicial board, which means that we have to follow certain rules and adhere to a different standard of decision-making, which means that we have to follow certain rules and adhere to a different standard of decision-making. The primary rule we must follow concerns testimony, and the substantial and competent evidence standard must be met when the judicial board makes a decision. This standard states the following, quote, all public testimony will be taken under oath. Everyone testifying will be subject to cross-examination. All documents and exhibits shall be entered into evidence. The giving of opinion testimony is limited to experts. Closing arguments will be limited to the evidence of record. Now I'm going to ask the city attorney to read into the record the ordinance or resolution by title and number.
The first item up tonight is Resolution Number 2026-03, a resolution of the Board of Adjustment of the City of Newberry, Florida, approving a site and development plan and development conditions for a project known as All Florida on certain lands lying within the corporate limits of the City of Newberry, Florida, identified as tax parcel number 01924-002-000, consisting of approximately 3.51 acres, more particularly described in Exhibit A, providing for repealer and providing an effective date.
At this point, I'm going to ask the clerk to swear in the applicant, staff, and any participants requesting to speak. They may be collectively sworn in at this time. Madam Clerk?
Please raise your right hand and state your name.
John Paul Perez.
Andrew Fuller.
Christopher Gavir. Walker Owen.
Thank you. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
You've been duly sworn.
Thank you, ma'am. Before we begin, we'll need to disclose any ex parte communications and disclose whether any member physically inspected the property. Ex parte communications are any conversations or transmission of information that may have bearing or influence on a voting member's decision. We'll begin with disclosures to my immediate right from board member Mazon.
None.
Long. Farnsworth.
None.
Clark.
None.
Coleman.
None.
And I have none either. I'll now explain the order of the presentations that we will follow for every judicial item before us tonight. Staff overview, applicant presentation, staff presentation, recommendation, third-party intervener, which I have not been notified by any. We'll entertain public comment. Intervener represents 3 or more persons. That's a moot point tonight. The applicant will be cross-examined. Party interveners will cross-examine. Staff may cross-examine. Members of the decision-making body after that will be able to ask questions through the chair of the staff, applicant, party interveners, or participants. Final argument may be made by any of the participating parties. The city attorney will then advise the decision-making body as to the applicable law and factual findings that must be made to approve or deny the application. Deliberations will ensue of the application, and then we will take a vote on approve with conditions, continue, or deny the application. Back to the top. Jean Paul Perez, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Chair of the Board of adjustment. John Paul Perez with the Community Development Department. The request before the board tonight is a site and development plan for all Florida. They're moving down the road and are seeking a site and development plan approval from the Board of Adjustment for their new site development and new structure. Planning and Zoning Board heard this on January 6, 2026, and recommended adoption. The recommended motion from staff is a motion to adopt the resolution, which does include an acceptance by the Board of Adjustment for metal siding used on the exterior of the building, which is just a condition included in our Code of Ordinances under the Gateway Overlay District. So there was a standard for metal siding not being used, but if it is used, it needs to be accepted by the Board of Adjustment. All right, the applicant is Gamir Engineering LLC. Chris Gamir is the engineer of record and here to answer any technical questions that the board may have. The owner of the property is Intellectual Partners LLC. Mr. Fuller is here to answer any questions you may have of him. The proposed uses for the site, and some of this is inline or separate buildings, but in total, 3,939 square feet of office and retail. It's a flexible space. 3,999 square feet of warehouse, 2,000 square feet of office, and 3,750 square feet of covered outdoor storage at the rear of the site. And existing on the property is a 3,751 square foot storage building that resembles a barn. It's in the commercial intensive zoning district, and the site is approximately 3.69 acres. And here's an aerial showing the location of the parcel on the south side of Newberry Road, right next to Ultimate RV Boat and Storage, and kind of kitty corner to Greenfield Nursery.
Yes.
Daycare.
Yes.
Sorry. And one question that came up in the Planning and Zoning Board hearing that I just want to clarify here, there is no connection to 218th Street. It is a private road and won't have access for the public to utilize it for accessing all Florida. All right, this is the site and development plan. This is more just for illustrative purposes to show the allocation of the buildings on the site as well as those uses in them. The red being the office retail flexible space, blue being the office space, and the purple being the warehouse space, all of those being proposed. And in yellow is the existing metal building, storage building on the property. And one point of ingress and egress off of State Road 26. And that'll be coordinated with FDOT as far as permitting for the right-of-way access. This is the landscape plan, so you can see that buffer in action here. And in red is where the monument sign will be, so it'll be on the east side of the driveway entrance. And it's right in, right out only for State Road 26. Here's the more full landscape plan, so you can see that the stormwater is both in the front and the rear, and there's perimeter landscaping where it counts as far as being a good neighbor with Greenfield and those folks that utilize 218th, which is on the top side of this, but ultimately the east side of the property. Here's a rendering of the property. So in the front here, it is a stucco finish. It is a metal building, has a stone skirt around it, and satisfies the glazing or the glass requirements for State Road 26 overlay. And on the right side of the image where the building is in shadow, you can see some of that corrugation occurring with the metal building. So it's not directly facing, and it's been, in staff's opinion, cleverly allocated to balance cost and aesthetics. This is that front facade in plan view. These are the sides, the top being the west side of the building and the bottom being the east side of the building. Colored those in green so you can see where, except for the windows and doors, where all the metal siding will be. This is the rear, which you won't see, and that's where the roll-up doors will be located next to the warehouse. And so we did find it consistent with the comprehensive plan and land development regulations. We are recommending one condition for the site lighting to be dark sky friendly, which is pretty consistent through all of the projects that we've been looking at over the past couple of years. And just wanted to restate that the metal finish needs to be accepted by the Board of Adjustment. That completes my presentation. Chris Gamir has prepared a presentation. I believe it follows. Awesome. And the font looks good.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Chair, my name is Christopher Gamir. I'm the professional engineer representing the owner. You may know All Florida, they have an existing site on Newberry Road, and he's leasing that space. So this will be his own property with his own building. And today he has a leased tenant. I believe it's a salon or some sort of beauty studio. So he already has sort of like this mixed use style, bringing a mixture of people to his building besides just being his one company on the site. So that's what he also has here. He'll have a tenant on the front of it, and that also adds as an additional buffer along the site. So if you take a look at this rendering that we have here, just to show that there's a lot of green at the front of the property along SR 26. And so the reason for that is because the site is sort of sitting right on top of a hill, to where to the back, water drains, and we have a stormwater pond to the bottom right of that screen you see there. And then the front half drains towards FDOT. Well, when things drain towards FDOT and the way the site gets really skinny there because of the daycare next to it, there's only room to have the driveway and the stormwater pond. And then we tried to make the pond as small as possible, but with the soils weren't really good at all in that location. And so that made the pond really large on the front there. But then that helps in this case when we're talking about buffering and the visual look of the building, is we really try to put the more costly materials, to be right at the front, very visible by the public, right there at the retail area of the site, and then allow Mr. Fuller to save money on the other parts to keep the character of that metal building for the rear portion for operating of his business. On top of that, because of he does some light assembly of gates and things for his business, and so that's where having sort of high ceilings to move some of the materials he has in at the back of his building really helps with the metal building, because you have such large spans that you can get for that building. I have some more renderings here to show you. You know, you can see where the stormwater pond's, how thin it gets, and then we have the parking right next to the building. On top of that, you can see we're next to the daycare, and we have landscaping along the east side there as well. And so I already talked about the topography, splitting the site into two watersheds, that giant pond to the north there. Because of FDOT requirements, we're not even having to meet Swanee River, but FDOT has their own stormwater requirements, which causes the ponds to be much larger. So our building is now 179 feet from our front property line, but of course there's a wide swale to the road. So the building's actually 218 feet away from the edge of pavement along SR 26. I already talked about how narrow the site is, so that's why the front of the property is just the pond and the driveway. And of course, Jean-Paul went over how we have the 25-foot landscape buffer, and of course the landscaping that's going to be inside that stormwater pond also acts as a buffer towards that building. The other thing is, you might think that, well, with we're up top of a hill. Well, it's a Florida hill. It's only a couple feet higher than things around it. And so the finished floor of the building is at 84.5 feet, and the edge of pavement of FR 26 is only at elevation 83. So that means that landscaping is going to get all in the way of providing a screen to that building. So again, a lot of justification of why we think we did a really good job of augmenting and putting together a lot of that mixed materials. And what I want to show on this rendering is that red line is the required fencing and complete screening we have of the whole entire rear area of the site where the outdoor storage for Mr. Fuller's business is located. So that's completely isolated. The people coming to the beauty shop at the front will never go back to the area, no people see it, and you won't be visible from SR 26 as well. And I can't remember the height of the fence. Is it 6 foot? It doesn't matter. Mr. Fuller is a fence contractor, so he'll have no problem doing fencing around his own site. Talk about building orientation. So the building is rotated sideways because that's the only room we had. And so that also limited the width of the frontage facing SR 26 as well. That limits it. And of course, the eastern facade is sort of blocked off by the daycare center, and it's also fencing because it's keeping all the children in the back sort of play area there. And of course, the west right now is fully wooded, but it would likely have all types of development that would screen most of the west face of the building. And then so we decided to dress up a little bit of that plain rendering from Mr. Kaplan there. But just show that when we have plants and stuff growing around there with bushes, et cetera, it's just going to be a really nice frontage. You don't even realize the intent of the allowing metal as a finish on a building there. So we don't believe it'll be that big of an issue. Again, this is a great project because it has a good mix of uses, diversity of uses. I mean, it's working really well having that beauty shop next to his fencing company business, and he has tenants there without any problems there. Yeah, there we go. Screened by an outdoor storage with those 6 to 8 foot fence. And we already talked about how that metal building really lends itself to the type of work that Mr. Fuller does on that site. So with that, I'm open with any questions you may have. I'm going to stop on the really pretty one. And again, Chris Gamir, I'm available for any questions the board may have of me.
Let me get to a couple other things before we go to questions from the dais, just to check the boxes. Is there any public comment? Okay, is there any cross-examination from the applicant or staff to either of you? No? Okay, very well. Then let's go to questions. Commissioner Clark, you are recognized.
One, Mr. Mayor, just for either Mr. Fuller, which this probably has been asked, but as I see the maps, is Miss Jamie Tate, is there already a fence down the backside of hers between y'all and your building? I see where your fence would go. So I was just wondering, has Miss Jamie Tate been asked about any of this? Maybe even, is the fence could go further, or is she good with it against that daycare?
I think there is a fence on the daycare property by their need.
Just kind of in your back on your east side.
I understand, sir. I did not pay attention to that specific requirement. Sometimes when we're doing design, we get blinded by what's written in the code, what we need to provide, and not necessarily tie everything to what may be there.
I just wouldn't want anything from a commercial site to be able to look right over there to where the kids may be playing. It don't look like there's much, if you'll go to that red line.
Yeah.
And Mr. Fuller, I ain't trying to add anything to you, that one right there. Miss Tate, where your building is to at least, if you got people going out back. That's all I'm asking. Maybe Miss Tate don't care. She hasn't seen it. I don't know.
It looks like
that would be my.
It looks like there's a fence back around the back.
Yeah, because
well, he's got a 6 foot privacy, is what he's saying.
Right.
Against that, which would be great just to have it to the end of his building, where nothing. People out back, people walking out back, whether they're out back smoking a cigarette. I can't tell if that's even a viable solution here. I'm sure there's back doors and pavement.
Yeah, and Mr. Chair, I would say also too, if you think about it, you had such a big, large storage yard with all those buildings in the back, that's probably more likely to be placed to go outside for.
Yeah,
eventual
I'm just.
smoke break. Yes, sir.
If you're doing
Would
it,
you like to come talk?
just food for thought.
Yeah, I think, sorry, I'm Andrew Fuller for anybody watching. So I think your question is there any visual barrier between the back of Greenfield?
Yes, and a fence to separate you from her on that little piece of green there going north from the red line.
I don't know if there's a laser. Yeah, sorry to go right above.
Just from the red line on the east side up is all I'm asking.
Oh, I see. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, right there.
Right there. Yeah. So there's nothing shown right now. Currently, there is a fence that's there.
Over there.
Okay. Yes. So I anticipate that we'll have some sort of foliage or something like that. There's a building there that we have used just for storage, and I've had many communications with the owner there, and she's
you're good with
totally
it?
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Anyone else?
John Paul, how come this isn't classified as industrial? How come it's not like an industrial park? What's the,
There is a retail component to this.
Okay.
And so that's how we're interpreting it. And the warehouse component's more of just the storage of the goods that they're retail selling on the property. And so the overall interpretation of it was not as an industrial use, but more of a retail use that incorporated some outdoor storage along with it, similar to like a Tractor Supply. We would deem that not an industrial use, but a retail use, and incorporate some sort of, not really a garden center, but something similar to a garden center where there's an outdoor storage component involved. And oftentimes, some light fabrication occurring on the site as well.
and looking at the pictures and stuff, is the lower one, is that what it's going to end up looking like? Is the stucco going to be over the metal? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it'd be better to go over to Mr. Jean Paul's view of that because I didn't label it very well. I mean, it does sort of show there's stucco on this face that you see. So on this face, on this picture, the top picture, the green is stucco. But then the light brown on the top picture, that is a line of metal along the top. So you get, when you're facing the west side, the front of the building, as you park up against it, you'll see an overhang or a rain overhang to shield the front from rain underneath there. That'll be metal at the top, and it'll be stuck on the building within stone at the bottom. So you're seeing 3 different textures, building materials there to kind of give it a mix of character and mix of materials along there. And then we just didn't have any metal at all along the part directly facing SR 26 to meet the absolute letter of the law on that one. So that, of course, we then transition from that plain stucco and stone to then stone, stucco, and middle metal finish. And then when it goes into the back and the other back sides, that's where it's just the normal engineered metal building finishes, if you will.
And
Does that answer your question?
yeah, that helps. And does FDOT have to sign off on the roadway or the entrance?
They do, and we have all our permits from them. So we went through a substantial traffic review study with them because they obviously want to make sure that that one driveway coming out is acceptable, and they've approved our driveway permit in full, along with the FDOT drainage permit, because we're discharging water towards the FDOT. So we have a culvert going across our front driveway. We meet all their criteria from that standpoint. We have our water management district permit for the stormwater design from that standpoint. So they're really the only, well, I shouldn't say the only last one. We have your permit today for the special use permit and the site plan. But then we had to do a small water main extension on SR 26 to set a new fire hydrant along the front there. And Jamie's signing off on those right now for FDEP for the water mains. That's technically another permit, but that's a formality at that point.
Okay.
You are the last at the end at this standpoint. There's no other outstanding major permits.
Okay. Commissioner Mazon or Board Member Mazon?
First of all, Mr. Fuller, thank you for staying with the city of Newberry.
Yes.
And your renderings look Fuller. Fuller?
Mr. Fuller?
Fuller, okay. The renderings look phenomenal. They look great. Mark Clark, actually, Monty answered the question that I had with the turning lanes. And then Mark Clark, along with Mark Clark's, to piggyback on him, so the fencing in the back is going to be privacy, right? And so my question is the retention pond, or is there going to be like a 4-foot fence or something to keep around that retention pond?
Not to denigrate, but the soils aren't that good, so the pond's not very deep at all. And it's a dry stormwater pond because we're not discharging to a river, or it doesn't eventually get to a river. So that means we have to design this pond to hold the stormwater and to have enough percolation to then go dry. So that's why there's no requirement from any agency to put a fence around it. It's meant to be landscaped and to be dry and not very deep at all.
So it won't be deep, it'd just be a slight hill?
Yeah, and a 4-to-1 slope, that's the kind of slope to where even when it rains, it really doesn't gully or do any type of erosion. There's probably stormwater ponds everywhere that you walk over, play soccer in, that you don't realize is a stormwater pond. It's just a depression. It'll just look like a slightly lower area of the site.
Yeah, the only reason I said the fencing was because it's the parking lot of the Greenfield preschool ordeal. So their parking lot's there, and I think their fence, I know their fence starts with their building and goes back into there, but the parking lot is not fenced. And so I'm just worried that a wide open field with a slope for a kid to pop loose, that's an attraction.
I understand. I promise with my years of designing stormwater facilities that it doesn't appear as a stormwater pond. It just looks like a grassed area in the front, and there's going to be landscaping all around the edges.
I'd be more worried about Newberry Road myself.
Let's be real, that too, but I mean, all measures,
Gotcha.
right? All measures.
Any,
So I understand your concern. I wish we didn't use words like stormwater pond. That's just our colloquial engineer term. Sometimes we don't think about how they look and feel to everyone else.
Okay.
And with being so shallow and not being really deep with very gentle side slopes, it'll just look like another part of the yard. And if there is water on it, it'll just be a little bit
And
wet
there'll be
at some
trees,
point.
there'll be trees as a
Oh,
buffer as
yes, the
well.
landscape plan shows trees around the stormwater pond. Yes,
It looks good, man.
any other discussion? Any closing arguments? If there's no further deliberations, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion that's moved and properly seconded. Madam Chair, or Madam Attorney, would you advise the decision-making body of the applicable law and factual findings that must be made to approve or deny the application?
Yes, Board, you must find that this site and development plan and development conditions meet all requirements of the city code, and you must base that decision on competent substantial evidence that's presented to you either verbally today or in the written record.
Thank you, ma'am. If there's no further discussions, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The motion passes unanimous. Well, all right. Thank you, Mr. Fuller. Thank you, Chris. Jean-Paul, looks like we are up for Wendy's now. You have the floor.
Thank you.
And I do have a resolution.
Baconator, baby.
All right, Jean-Paul, before you get started, let's go ahead and have the attorney read in the resolution.
Resolution 2026-04, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Newberry serving as the Board of Adjustment of the City of Newberry, Florida, approving an application for site and development plan pursuant to Section 14.12 of the City of Newberry Land Development Regulations for a 2,228 square foot fast food restaurant with drive-through known as Wendy's within the Highland Park Plan Development on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Newberry, identified as a portion of Alachua County Tax Parcel Number 01932-000-000, consisting of approximately 1.1 acres, more particularly described in Exhibit A, repealing resolutions in conflict and providing an effective date.
Madam Attorney, my backup has 2350 square feet. Did you say 2350? I thought you said 22.
Yes, the resolution says 2,228.
It must
So-
be a Scrivener's error typo in the resolution title. My apologies.
Okay,
That can be corrected.
no worries. Okay, all right, just make sure make a note of what is actually correct there. All right, Jean-Paul, you're up for staff overview and then the applicant afterwards.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Chair. John Paul Perez, again, with the Community Development Department. The request before the board tonight is a site and development plan for Wendy's at Highland Park. The applicant is NV5 Global Incorporated. Walker Owen is the engineer of record here to answer any technical questions that the board may have. Newberry Plaza LLC, I think, is no longer the owner. It's now been transferred to D&C Investments out of Georgia. The proposed use is a 2,300, well, I should say 2,350 square foot fast food restaurant with drive-through and related site improvements. It's within the Highland Park Plan Development, consistent with that approval. The site is approximately 1.1 acres. Here is an aerial showing the location of the lot within the Highland Park stratification of State Route 26 with the out parcel development that they have planned here. just wanted to go over what's been approved and what's currently under review. So in yellow is the Wendy's site. Wawa is on Lot 6 and has been approved already. Advanced Auto Parts is on Lot 11. Has been approved, and we're in a place to issue a building permit for that one, so you should see some movement there. We did get an application for a self-storage facility called YSU Storage, and that's currently in its first submittal review. So they usually take about 2, sometimes 3 reviews, and so that may be coming before the board in March or April sometime. All right. This is the site overview. I just wanted to show you here that the site plan included some improvements that were off-site that do require a different level of review. And that's that additional deceleration lane that you're seeing on Newberry Road. That's new. That hasn't been looked at by the board yet. And that driveway access as well hasn't been reviewed by the board yet. That'll come in the form of a construction plan. So. For the time being, for the plan that's being considered tonight, the only access to the site will be off of the service road. And as the future parcels adjacent to it build out, there's a cross-access easement that runs parallel to State Road 26, adjacent to State Road 26. So it'll be State Road 26, the 15-foot landscape buffer, a cross-access that runs across all the sites, so you don't have to get on the service road or get on State Road 26 to go from.
I'm just asking, you're looking like you're gonna ask later for a deceleration lane and a entrance into 26?
The intent of the property owner is to come back with a 4th access on State Road 26 that includes, a deceleration lane. So they're.
So we're gonna do these on every one of
N-
them? The way it was developed.
No. So, and I'll have Walker speak to
No problem, just saying.
to that.
This whole thing has been, you know.
A moving target?
A moving target.
Sir, yes,
So
definitely.
each lot is not gonna get its own entrance and exit off 26, but being in the middle, it looks like they're gonna be asking for one.
Correct, yeah. They are within a very shallow window that allows them one additional access per FDOT access management standards, and it's about 630-something feet off from an adjacent access for the speed zone. That's
Okay.
an appropriate
So they'll go through the
separation.
process.
Yes, sir. And it'll come back before the board in the form of construction plans.
No
so-
worries, just, it's definitely a moving target.
No, great question, though. All right, here's a colorized version of the plan showing that parking along the front, that cross-access, and then your typical traffic movements throughout the site for a drive-through facility. With angled parking headed south. Here's the backside of the site. We did have some conditions on this approval. I'll go through them at the end. The only one I wanted to point out here was the dumpster. We are asking for it to be relocated outside of the drive aisle. There's a portion of the gate swing that encroaches into that drive aisle that should be left open by a Wendy's employee. We just wanted to avoid any sort of weird funkiness in the driveway with cars trying to maneuver around a gate or each other, or even a rogue Wendy's employee with a trash can with wheels on it.
Is this, JP, is that space over here, if you're, that green, is that just totally grassed area?
There's a landscape plan. I don't think I
I mean,
included
that
it.
dumpster, there's plenty of room over there to go behind a parking lot and put a dumpster.
Yeah, I think they need to, so with the turning movements.
Yeah, I mean, get that thing, I mean, I'm with you. Why, well, they can't use that?
I think they call it a service road for a purpose, and I think it
Oh.
would be more appropriately located along the rear of the site where it's
Yeah.
accessible and the vehicle doesn't need to go
Anyway.
all the way into the site in order to.
Looks like there's a lot of room there.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. There's one of the things that we'll be working with the applicant after tonight to find a better location for that dumpster or orientation. These are the elevations of the Wendy's. This will be the front elevation. Just wanted to point out, it does show a, like a gazebo structure on the bottom right of that. In our code currently, it requires that outdoor dining be approved by a special exception. They've chosen to withhold that right now. I don't understand when it'll be coming forward, but eventually we'll be removing, I understand we'll be removing the requirement to obtain a special exception to
I'll
do
agree.
outdoor dining in the state
I'll
of
agree. If
Florida.
that's a commercial business, they've been doing this everywhere.
Yes,
I
sir.
don't understand why it's gotta be a special exception as part of their building package.
Yeah, I
It
think
ain't a
that,
gazebo like we're talking gazebos.
this is the west elevation. Again, the gazebo will come in later. We'll address that as it comes in. They just didn't want to complicate the application and move it through the process a little bit quicker. See plenty of glazing, differentiation of materials, some corporate logos, and quality is their recipe. This is the east facade, rear facade. And we did find it consistent with the comprehensive plan and land development regulations, and with the following recommended staff conditions. So the State Road 26 access will be reviewed under separate construction plans. There are some modifications that need to occur with the underground infrastructure that's already installed there that does require a construction plan level of review. Rooftop mechanical equipment shall be screened, which is just simply a requirement of the overlay. And relocate dumpster wholly outside of the drive aisle, and as always, dark sky-friendly lighting will be required. And the PZB did hear this on their regular January 6th meeting, recommended adoption, and our recommendation is to adopt with the staff recommended conditions. That completes my presentation. The applicant doesn't have a presentation, but is here to answer any technical questions that the board may have.
Before we get to that, is there any public comment? All right, seeing none, and I assume there's no cross-examination, Mr. Owen, with you and the staff, or vice versa? Okay, all right, fantastic. Yeah, is there any more questions or anything from the dais? All right. Madam Attorney, would you please advise the decision-making bodies of the applicable law and the factual findings that must be made to approve or deny the application?
Yes, to approve this site and development plan, you must find that it meets all requirements of the city code, and you must base that decision on the competent substantial evidence that was presented to you today, either verbally or written in the backup.
All right, thank you, Madam Attorney. If there's no further discussions from the board, I will entertain a motion at this time. Second. We have a motion from Commissioner or Board Member Mazon and Long on the second. Again, if there's no further deliberations, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Say Baconator. Motion passes unanimous. Okay.
I wish it was cranked.
Okay. We've got topics for members' discussion before adjournment.
That was for the
That was for the motion for the,
motion.
Yeah.
any comments?
I have one. I got one. Is this thing on?
Okay. Yeah.
Is it on right now? Yeah. So, Coleman, what do you call Arnold Schwarzenegger eating a Wendy's burger? A Baconator. Terminator. Baconator.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
Bang the gavel. Bang the gavel.
Motion is, there's no further comments, the meeting is adjourned.
Mr. Walker, Mr. Walker, over here. Can you come here, please?
You know, Wendy was a kicker.